Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is set to meet US President Donald Trump in Washington on the 11th of February. The two leaders will focus on ongoing negotiations with Iran. Last Friday, US and Iranian officials held indirect nuclear talks in Muscat, Oman, with both sides agreeing to more discussions soon. Iran has stressed its right to enrich uranium, while its missile capabilities were not discussed. Meanwhile, Netanyahu insists that any deal must address Iran's ballistic missile program. Tensions remain high after military actions against Iran's nuclear sites last year, and any breakdown in talks could escalate into further conflict. We are now being joined by Major General Sudakaji, who's a senior strategic and international affairs expert. Thank you so much for joining us here today on NewsX World. Why does Netanyahu want Iran to include missiles and Iran's regional allies, not just the nuclear issue? Oh. Sorry, we're just experiencing some problems as we can't hear you. We're just going to come back to you hopefully soon.
Am I audible?
Oh, hello. Thank you so much for joining us here today on NewsX World. Why does Netanyahu want Iran talks to include missiles and Iran's regional allies, not just the nuclear issue?
Good morning, Gaili. Thank you for inviting me for your show. It's quite simple that Israel wants to be secure, safe, and free of any threat from either Iran or any country in the Arabic world or in the Middle East. That is to actually say the least. Back to you, please.
Is Israel pushing conditions that make negotiations with Iran harder or more realistic?
Again, a very simplistic response from my side. It's going to make the negotiations harder because the goalposts are being shifted from the nuclear enriched uranium for the nuclear warhead purposes, and which Iran, indirectly or directly, they have indicated they are prepared to negotiate and bring down the percentage of enrichment from whatever it is today, more than 60%, down to 30%. And also from unofficial circles, I am given to understand they are prepared to lower it further. There is a process to actually bring down the enrichment. But adding the ballistic missiles and also reining in the proxies, the Houthis, the Hezbollah, the Hamas, and there are a couple of others, militia also, to stop them altogether. Iran is not in agreement, and therefore this particular dialogue may continue without any substantive outcome at the end of the day. Back to you, Ellie.
Do you think Trump will back Israel's tougher demands, or focus more on keeping talks alive with Iran?
Options for Trump are more than one. First and foremost is not to lose patience, have strategic patience, talk it out. Because it is Donald Trump in 2018, I suppose, yes, where during his first tenure, he is the one who impulsively pulled out of JCPOA, Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action 2015, in which P5 members plus one, Germany also was there, with great difficulty, long years of negotiation. They all had come together and they were actually progressing in a very substantive manner with Iran to prevent Iran from going nuclear. Now, having pulled back or withdrawn from that kind of a platform, and now to say and expect Iran to again do it, somehow it is highly contradictory. It doesn't stand to logic. So therefore, The first option that comes to my mind is that diplomacy and dialogue sooner or later will pay dividend, but it is not certain whether it will happen during Donald Trump's time or not. Second option could be a mix of diplomacy dialogue, that is the carrot and stick. That is when you talk about the carrot and stick, somebody has to be Mutt and somebody has to be Jeff. Between Israel and US, I don't think both either of them will have any soft partner. Both of them are hard partner. But Donald Trump would do well to become a soft partner, and Netanyahu would do the job of being a hammer. So that is how the military technique actually applies when you are dealing with a stakeholder which is opposing you. That could be a combination of diplomacy and also the kinetic component. The third one is that you rule out everything, and you go in full hog for the kinetic component. So therefore, Donald Trump will do well to exercise these multiple options which are available, and it is going to be spread over a long spectrum of time frame, short term, medium term, and long term, at different levels, strategic level, regional and local level. At the moment, the Arabic countries, most of them, are not in agreement with Donald Trump going in for any kind of offensive or attack against Iran. They have refused to allow their use of the airspace of the respective countries. So therefore, Donald Trump would do well to buy some time, win over these people who are in support of Iran, and after having consolidated, maybe the time will tell him when to go in for. At the moment, it is not conducive. Donald Trump is unlikely to go in for the military offensive. Back to you, Ali.
And could this meeting increase pressure on Iran or raise the risk of regional escalation?
There is a risk of regional escalation. There is a risk of regional escalation because no country, and that too of the stature of Iran, this is a civilizational power, and to expect Iran to forego its ballistic missile capability, incidentally, a word or two about its missile capability. It is one of the countries in the world, despite all sanctions, has got a huge arsenal, huge inventory of missiles of different ranges. At the moment, it does not have ICBM capability, but there are reports to suggest that Iran is carrying out very serious trials and development of ICBMs with a range of 10,000 to 12,000 kilometers, which can reach the east coast of America or the mainland. But they have not been successfully operationalized or tried out anytime soon. They have missiles which are of the range of 2,000 to 3,000 kilometers. Second thing they have is the hypersonic missiles, which are deadly and dangerous. No radar in the world available can either, they can detect, but they cannot intercept. They pass through a very narrow a space of 100 feet to 1,000 feet gap of air defense, which is available with US and Israel. So therefore, at the moment, you do well that the Iran would not like to forego its missile program, because with great difficulty they have gone in for these kind of systems for safety and security. They may accept all these proposals provided there is some guarantee by the US, some guarantee by Israel they are not going to be attacked in future, which is a very tall order to expect. And I don't see that the Iran domination, because there is another angle also you got to be mindful of. It is called as the Ummah's contestation. In the Arabic world or the Islamic world, there are three countries contesting against each other for their supremacy. One is Turkey, second is Saudi Arabia, and third is Iran. Iran has taken extraordinary steps to prove to Saudi Arabia and Turkey that despite being a Shiite-dominated nation, it is still helping out Hamas for the larger cause of the Islamic world. So these are the kinds of contestation and the spirit behind the contestation which are actually preventing Iran to forego the missile capability and the proxies that they are actually employing to target Israel. Back to you, Ali.
Thank you. Don't go too far, as we will be back to you very shortly. Greenland's Foreign Minister Vivian Motzfeldt